Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion and this is my buddy chapstick. This is cotton candy flavored. I picked it at random. If you're new here, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you're returning, what's up my troll fam? I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys can be watching anybody's video and you are here watching me. I do appreciate that. My intro is, I call this the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube. The crazy, just enjoying videos, enjoying the channels that you watch, knowing it's okay to be your authentic self, whether you're serious, whether you're goofy, whether you're clumsy, whether whatever's going on with you that day. If you want to do a video, just know it's okay to do a video. It's okay to be you. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. We may watch videos and feel like we need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique because that's what's popular, that's what's hyped up, that's what the current trend is, which change every 30 minutes. But just do what you want to do, wear what you want to wear, apply it however you want to apply it to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Because here at the Crazy Troll Nation, we are about self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. You make the makeup. The makeup doesn't make you. Right. Love yourself and accept yourself, regardless of what other people may say, because people will say, don't do this, do that, you will look better with this type of color, you would look better with this type of, eyeshadow palette, whatever. Rock whatever you want to rock, y'all. And I hope that resonates with you. I hope seeing some of the experiments I do and me just sitting here saying, I know this might not look right, and then we do it, sometimes it comes out and it looks nice, and I do those things. And sometimes I seriously don't think things are going to come out looking nice, but I do it because it's okay. And if it turns out nice, we've learned something new. I just want you to just play in your makeup. It's serious if you're going to work because you don't want to look crazy going to work, but then crazy looking is subjective too. I want you to know it's okay to just do your own thing. And that's why I do the experiments I do. That's why I just sit here and play in makeup and hope it comes out. And if it doesn't, my under eyes are looking kind of dark, like right here. If it doesn't turn out right, we try to fix it. And if we're able to fix it, cool. And if we're not, then we've learned it's not going to be fixed. Either way, it's a learning lesson. And for me, that's part of what makeup is. This is the brush I use for concealer. Just trying new things. Because how else will you learn if you just always quit? Or if a look is turning out in a way that we don't like it, try to fix it if you have time to, you know what I mean? Like if you're rushing out the door, you might not have the luxury of time. But for the most part, here it's just do your thing. Either way, it's a learning lesson. We've learned what we can do to fix something, or we've learned, okay, never, ever, ever, ever in life do that thing again. So either way, we've learned. And I hope that my videos are helpful. I hope that my babble is helpful. I hope it resonates with you. I hope it makes sense. This is the brush we use for foundation. And so I really just do things because it was things that I learned. And I'm like, I don't think I'm the only one that has ever felt this way. And in reading comments, I know that I'm not the only one that have felt that way. And so I am glad for those of you who have learned it's okay to just be yourself. Does that look any better? When I'm looking here, I'm looking at me. When I'm looking here, I'm looking at where you are. So that's why sometimes I'm looking in different places. And if I'm looking up here, I'm reading text messages. And so I do know it's ideal to look at you when I'm talking to you. I just have a habit of looking at myself when I'm applying makeup. Anyway, and there's a mirror back there, but it's too far for me to see myself clearly because I am nearsighted. And there's a mirror down here, but the lighting is shaded. Let me get into it. Today we're using 2 more Pat McGrath palettes. You know this from the title. And these are what they look like. I'm excited for this. Listen, today, right now, because it's just after midnight, I am nocturnal. Today is now July 18th. July 17th was when my midnight Seduction, not Midnight, when my Moonlit Seduction video went live. And I already had a look planned out for these two palettes. This is Moonlit Seduction. This is Bronze Seduction. When I was looking at the video for Moonlit Seduction, 3 of the shades were going to be in the exact same placement that I have written for the look. So I looked at it again and like, I need to do something different. And so I'm glad that video did air today. I'm glad that I did look at it. And so this is new. And the shades that were going to be in the same placement was Platinum Dusk, VR Ecstasy, and Astral Lilac Aura. So those 3 were going to be in the same place. And to me, these 2 are the most unique shades, Platinum Dusk and VR Ecstasy. But we switched it around. We're not using VR Ecstasy at all in this look today because I definitely want to do different things and I don't want looks to look similar to other things that I've done, because then what's the point in pairing palettes? Just use that one palette. So we're going to see what this is going to look like. I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this series as much as I am. I am learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about pairing colors, even if I don't think they're going to turn out right. You know, usually they do, or, you know, we tweak it. But I'm excited. So we're going to take VR. We're going to take Extreme Nocturne from Moonlit Seduction, and that's going to go in the outer corner. And this is a little tricky because Moonlit Seduction is a cool tone palette, or at least more cool tone than Bronze Seduction, because Bronze is warm tone by nature. And so I was looking at these like, how am I going to get these to go? And what I think was the case with Tintalia.com, her website, when she was saying what would pair with what, at one point I think she had put that she thinks any of the Motherships will pair with Bronze Seduction. And I think because it is like a warm basic tone, and for these 2 shades, for most people who do transition and crease, that's what they would do. And so having this in your transition and this in your crease, anything will go with that. Anything from any palette will go with those 2 shades. And so I was thinking that's why she did that. But looking at both of these as a whole, Moonlit Seduction is cool tone. Cool, leaning neutral maybe, but definitely a whole lot cooler than Bronze Seduction. And so I was kind of like, I don't do the transition and crease application, as you have noticed. Even if you've been here for like 5 videos, you've noticed I don't do that. And so it was kind of tricky, like what will go with where, because sometimes when tones don't match, meaning cool tone, warm tone, or neutral, if the colors don't match, or if it's not in the same color family or have the same undertone as far as cool or warm, it may turn out looking muddy. The shadows you put on may be beautiful on their own, but when you mix them, it'll turn muddy. And that is something I had to learn, but I've also learned there's a way to get around it too. There's a way to still finagle it where it'll look right. But if you're really just, if your go-to technique is transition, crease, and then outer corner, it is beneficial that all of them have the same undertone, because otherwise it is going to look messy once you start putting on your lid shades. So that's what I will say about that. So looking at these 2, I didn't want to do those 2, Entrapment and Disobedient, the 2 shades that I showed you, these 2. I didn't want to just put these 2 on the outer corner. And even with that, putting something next to Entrapment, because it is warm, I was like, I don't know what it's going to look like. And so I didn't want to chance it too much, but at the same time, I wanted to do something different than the usual. You know what I mean? And I've been trying to do the unusual, or at least non-typical type of looks that you may see with these palettes. And so in that sense, I hope that this is interesting to you, like seeing the different combinations that I'm using. If you have these Motherships and you're considering recreating these looks, please let me know. And if you're on Instagram, tag me so I can see what you did. if you're on YouTube and you do a look, tag me so I can make sure I see it. And if you don't have the Motherships, the shades that are dupable or that are close to dupable to what you have in your collection, tag me in those too, because I would love to see you just play in your makeup and just try new things, because that's why we're here. Like, this is not, you know, I'm not a professional makeup artist. I had to correct someone, not in a bad way. When the Ulta beauty board thing, I forget what it's called, because then of course Sephora created their thing too. They copy a lot of stuff from Ulta, but I'm like, copy their reward system, because that's the best thing. But anyway, a few people were like, you're such a talented makeup artist, and I'm like, I am not. Like, I'm a troll. Like, I am not professional at all. And so I did say, well, you know, I'm not a professional makeup artist. I just like to play in makeup, and it's taken me, you know, a long time to learn what I like for me, and I just like to experiment and try new things. And the thing is on the beauty board thing, you can upload pictures, but I don't. And so they're just basing that assumption off of things that I write when I do the comments or when I comment to other people. Someone had recently commented, they had a questionnaire about bronzers, and somebody commented, I don't know why people just don't want to be their natural color. And so I commented saying, for me, a bronzer balances out if I have a powder that's too light. And I gave an example of what's been happening in this series. I said I have a McGrath powder. One was too dark. I exchanged it for the next one down, and it was too light. And so I use a bronzer to make my face look like my natural color. And so it's not always to look bronze, which it can, but even when you use a bronzer to make your face look bronze, we're going to go into Platinum Dusk. It will make you, well, not make you, but the idea is there's a dip in this shadow. This shadow is soft. The idea is that it'll make you look like you have a tan. So it still looks like you, but when you have a tan. And so my comment to her was, you know, I have a powder that's too light, and so putting on a bronzer does look like my natural shade, because when a powder makes my skin look too light, that's not my natural coloring. And so I think it's comments like that that people think, oh, she's a professional makeup artist. No, I just learned what works for me. We're going to go back to that first brush. And we're going to feather over. And I know I haven't been feathering a lot to blend. And we're going to tap. Here it looks like a line, but then, and you guys are probably like, Dion, I don't see it. So now we're going to put this on the other eye. And so I get what they're saying. Like, I'm not a fan of changing your features. Even when I do bronzer and when I do contour, it's not to chisel my face, to make my bone structure look sharp, or to take this away. Because even when I put bronzer here, like, this is still here. Like, when I turn, you still see this hanging down. So and that's why I say enhance your features if you want to, but not feeling like you have to, because some videos are like, there's a gnat. Wasn't there a gnat yesterday that was flying around here? We may feel like we need to be snatched and chiseled and, you know, sharpen your cheekbones and, you know, hide all of this and all that. And I'm just like, be who you are. And that's the concept of the Crazy Troll Nation, accepting your features. Enhance them if you want to. But I'm just like, don't be catfishing people. You know, because they're going to see you. If you're with someone long enough, they're going to see you without your makeup on. This one comedian, I forget who he was. I watched Comedy Central, going back to the brush with Extreme Nocturne. And he was saying when you, he was talking about how, you know, you meet someone out at the club and they're looking all, you know, polished and perfect. And then you start dating and you usually do see them still with their makeup on most of the time. And he said, when you're with someone and she lets you see like her removal process, he said, that's how you know that y'all in a serious relationship. And he said, I was just looking at her like, wow, she took the lashes off and she's wiping off her makeup. Yeah, she's kind of ugly a little bit. And then he started laughing. I was dying. I was like, see? And so if you're catfishing people, where you're just, you know, the picture of what society says is perfection, is that really who you are? Because you're perfect the way you are. So don't think I'm not saying that you're not. But eventually they're going to see you and they're going to be like, I remember I dated this one guy way back in the day. Did I put the wrong shade? No, I didn't. We're going to take Guilty Pleasure from, these two were from Moonlit Seduction. This is Guilty Pleasure from Bronze Seduction. And this was probably back in like 1995. Oh my gosh. And I'll be having flashbacks when I be talking to y'all. And even then, I've always worn, well, not always, but since I was like early teens is when they figured out I was having issues seeing distance. But and so as I got older, like once I left home, which was when I was 17. Is this hard pan? This is hard panning. This shade right here is hard panning. I've had this a little over a year. May 2023 made a year that I had this palette. This is hard panning because I'm like, why is this not wanting to apply? Oh, wow. And so you may see a difference. This is cool tone, this is warm tone. But because the shades are not that different in color, this is the one we're using now. This one in the middle at the bottom, which is at the top, is upside down. That's not going to work. Yeah. So definitely the one from Moonlit Seduction is more silver and this one is not, but this is hard panning. Interesting. So once I got out on my own, which is when I was 17, there's a whole story behind that. But because this one is shinier, it does work. But you see how this is cool and that's warm. So, but I am glad this is working out. This is hard panning. Wow, that's interesting. I started wearing contacts. Like if I would go out, I would wear contacts. Or if I was just around family, I would just wear my glasses. And so this one guy, I forget where we met, but we were going somewhere. And this was after we were like officially dating. And he was going out to play ball. And he would love for me to come watch him play ball and be like, cheerleading type shit. But anyway, he was like, oh, okay, let's go. We're running late. We got to go. So I'm like, okay. So I grabbed my glasses. And he was like, put your contacts in. I said, but you said we running late. He said, we got time. I was like, damn. So that told me he preferred me without the glasses. But still, that wasn't like me as a person, like changing your looks as far as makeup. But it was changing like how my face looks. So I was just like, because I'm thinking like, he's saying we running late. And then he was like, we got time. And the way his tone of voice was, I was just like, damn, like he is really serious. But I was like, okay, we're going to take a sponge tip applicator because we're going to take Rose Gold 005, this shade here. And this is, I don't remember if it's a Chunky Monkey. And it's not, it looks chunky. But rubbing it in, it does just pick up nice. But I am going to tap off. A little bit is tapping off. And that is going to go right here. And that's what that looks like. So eventually people are going to see you for who you are. So just be yourself. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel like, or try not to feel like, because you can, and I know a lot of people do. Try not to feel like you need to be like everybody else, because you're not everybody else. You're you and you're unique. Own it. Own it. And people who like you for you and people who love you for you, it is because of who you are, not because you're trying to pretend to be something other than you're not. So that's why earlier I was like, just be your authentic self. We're going back to that brush. Is this the right brush? Yes. And I can tell because it's warmer than the other brush. It's a little bit darker. So this is the right brush. And we're just going to just tap where they overlap. I think people would be happier just accepting and owning who they are. And I do believe happiness comes from within. I was talking with my therapist, and we were talking about just life, because, you know, you talk about stuff in therapy. And I said, I don't believe things can make you happy. I believe happiness comes from within, although there are things that can enhance your happiness. He said, spoken like a true therapist, because he knows my background. And I used to wonder, like, how interesting is it for him to have someone with a doctorate degree in psychology as his client? You know what I mean? He loves it. He's like, I wish I had like 10 more of you. Because usually when I go, if it's something that I've been dealing with, I'll say, this is what's been going on. This is how I processed it. This is what I figured out. And he'll be like, okay. And sometimes he'll say, well, everything I thought to tell you, you already said that you've been doing. And so it's pretty cool. And there are times, though, which is awesome. You know, he'll say, well, how about this for a thought? You know what I mean? Or, you know, have you considered this? And I really appreciate that. And we have a good working relationship, which you should with your therapist. And if you don't, then you need a new one. And I do think everyone could benefit from a good therapist. We're going back to Moonlit Seduction, and we're going to take this shade here. So as you see, we're staying away from, well, we did use Platinum Dust, but we're staying away from this shade and that one. This one is Astral Gold Lust, and I have that for Inner Corner, even though we just put rose gold there. So really what I was trying to do is just mix the palettes and just see what we can come up with. And so that is this on a sponge tip, because this is a textured shade too. And we're just going to do just a tiny bit. I'm not even going to go back in right now into the shadow. I felt it flake like near my eye. And I do see fallout on my face. And it might be from the other shades. But we're just going to just press this a little bit right here in the tear duct area. And that's going to be it for that shade. So just a little bit of brightness. I know I don't usually do tear duct area. I don't always like how it looks on me. And maybe because I prefer dark, smoky, swamp water, grunge type stuff. We're going to take... I was paranoid that I was going to go into my eye. This is different. This is different. Oh, I see the flakes. I don't know, my nose, the side of my nose, down here. The video, I don't think it was the one that aired on the 17th. I was watching another one of my videos. I do watch my videos because I do learn from them. And I had noticed, I'm just trying to see where I see all the dots, because this is picking up some. This is a brush we use for concealer. And when I was looking at myself, I had like fallout down here, and my shirt's always crooked. And I had like fallout sparkles on my shirt, and I'm just looking at the video like, I wonder if anybody noticed, because I usually just focused on the face. But I was like, I had like shiny stuff here and on my shirt, and I'm like, we're going to put more of this because there's like specks of fallout in different places. And I don't always see it. Sometimes I see it after the fact, like after the video is over. Actually, what we're going to take is the brush we use for our foundation, and we're just going to press. I've learned not to take this foundation up under my eye because the undertone of it is olivey and it just does funky things to my under eye. But I do like it, like for this area here, and of course the rest of my face. But if I put it like here, it makes this dark patch darker. And so that's why I'm careful to just put the concealer closer to my under eye area. So this is the brush that we use for concealer. And also less is more, because for me, because I do have under eye discoloration, sometimes concealer just makes it look worse. And I know it has to do with the tone of it, but this is a good tone for me. But then there are still times when certain angles, like this one, you can see is darker. This is my darkest patch, like right here. So don't catfish people, accept your features. And even if you're going out, and it depends on what your purpose is. Do you want to be noticed, or I'm going to detour just a tiny bit. This is the black pencil. I might have said this in a video before. I know someone, she's 5'9", I think, and she wears heels. And so with her heels on, she's like 6 foot. And she would always say stuff like, I want to be the tallest one in the room, the tallest female in the room. And so one day I was just like, why? Like, why do you want to be the tallest one in the room? And she said, because that way when she walks in, everybody sees her because she's taller than everyone else in the room. And you know what I said to her? I'm going to tell you what I said to her. I said, I don't need everyone in the room to see me. I just need the right person or right people to see me. Think about that. Do you want everyone to see you, or do you just want the people who are meant for you and to be in your life to see you? And when I said that to her, I don't need everyone to see me. I don't want everyone to see me. I just would like the right one to see me. And she just looked at me like, huh? And I'm like, so that's a thought. And so that's the thing, is the right people for you will find you and they will accept you for who you are and for how you look, which is why I think it would benefit you to do that for yourself. We're going to take Bronze Devotion from Moonlit, Seduction, and we're going to put this on the first half of our lower lash line. Let me know. I know I babble a lot, and usually there is a story to it or a reason for what I'm saying. And sometimes stuff just pops in my head, like when I thought about the contact and the glasses, that dude. But I hope that it means something to you, or that you not necessarily learn something, but that it gives you something to think about. So let me know if that's true. I just dipped in the wrong shade, so I'm wiping. No, yeah, I did wipe that brush off. So this is Bronze Devotion still. Let me know if my babbling gives you something to think about. Let me know if you've learned to struggle less with accepting yourself, meaning you've learned over the years to just accept yourself more for who you are. And I find that there's a freedom in that. And also, we're going to take Entrapment from Bronze Seduction. Let me know if... Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I saying? If you learned how to just accept yourself more for who you are. Oh, what's your take on happiness? Like, do you think things can make you happy? Or do you feel like how I do, where happiness comes from within, which is just being content with yourself, loving yourself, knowing that your life is good, even though everything may not be the way you want it to, but you're doing fine. You're doing good. You know, we have struggles. We work through them. We move through them. I tell people, if you're going through, keep going. Don't stop. Don't get stuck. If you're going through, just keep going. And, you know, we'll learn along the way that it'll work out. Or at least we'll get to a place where we just accept. Because sometimes things just are what they are. So let me know, though, if you believe... And if you believe it, I believe it for you. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you're wrong. Do you believe things make you happy? Or happiness comes from within, although there's things that can enhance that happiness? It's like, I'm having a good day. We're going back to Bronze Devotion. I'm having a good day. Everything is okay in my life. And then... you know, you get a phone call from a friend you haven't heard from in a year, and you're like, oh my gosh, how you been? And so it just enhances your day. You know what I mean? It enhances the feelings of goodness and content, being content with your life and with who you are. And so I hope that makes sense. What are we going to do now? We are going to, that's all the shades. We did 4 for the eye look from Moonlit Seduction, and we did 3 for the eye look from Bronze Seduction. We are going to take Skin Show Divine Glow from Bronze Seduction as our cheek highlight again, which I'm really liking it for that. We're going to put on our eyeliner now. I was going to shake it again, which I should know by now, and I don't need to shake it. It's just out of habit. Even though I've been using this eyeliner exclusively for looks for this series, my instinct is still to shake it. So those are my babblings for today. I hope it did give you something to think about. I do recommend, even if everything is going well in your life, I still recommend therapy, because sometimes it's just helpful just to just go and talk to someone who's going to be objective. I have quite a few friends, actually I only have like a handful of like close friends, but all of them are people who, they are objective. They're not people who, whatever goes on, they're going to co-sign whatever you're doing. Even if they know you're doing something that's really just messed up, they're not going to be like, well, girl, they deserved it. You need to act like that because such and such. They'll be like, you know, that wasn't right, right? And whether it's something personal, but usually it is something personal, because I don't do chit chat and fluff very well. So when I have conversations with friends, it has substance to it, and they are objective about it, and we're able to agree to disagree. They'll be like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand why you think that way or did that. The way I look at it is, and that's what they'll say, and then they'll say how they look at it, and I appreciate that. And so I have realized a lot of people are not, objective. It seems to me, and maybe it's my clinical background, I don't know. It seems to me that most people, even if they're your friends or consider themselves your friends, they don't want to challenge you. They don't want to contradict anything you say. But that's not going to help you grow. If they agree with everything you do and say, and there's times we know we are flat out wrong, and so we'll let somebody know something, and then they co-sign it, and it's just like, I know I'm wrong, and you're just like agreeing with me here. You know, we don't learn from stuff like that. And so even if, just to go talk to someone that's going to be objective, that's going to agree with you when they believe you're doing right, or they're going to challenge you when their clinical training is telling you that something's off or there's a red flag. And so I do recommend it. And in every workshop and every conference I attended when I was working, which was of course mental health related, psychology related, there was always a segment on self-care. And one of the things they would always say is every therapist needs a good therapist. And so it's not for, I am just really off on a rant right now. So it's not, I'm gonna powder down while I'm talking. It's not about, okay, I need a therapist because my life is in shambles, or, and unfortunately, sometimes people do wait until they feel like they just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. My life is a fucking mess. I'm at my wit's end. I'm losing my sanity here. And then they'll go to therapy. It's fine for that too. If you're already in therapy though, guess what? That line is already open for you. That line is already available to you. And there are times that even in my day-to-day life, I go every 3 weeks or so, unless something is happening. Because they'll ask me, you know, how soon do you want to come back? And when my grandmother was still here with us, I think I was going like every 3 weeks. And when my mom first went into the nursing home, I was going like every 3 weeks. And now it's like every 4 or 5 weeks, because there was like something significant to me that was going on that I'm like, okay, I need to, well, not need to, but it would benefit me to process this. Because you don't always want to burden your friends. And it's not a burden if they're your friend, but sometimes you can still feel that way. Every time they call, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, my mom, blah, 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 blah. But people who are your friends, that's what they're there for, and they understand it and they don't mind it. And it is a trust thing too. And if you trust your friends, you're not going to feel some kind of way about telling them what's going on in your day-to-day life. And if they're your friends, they already know what's going on in your day-to-day life. You know what I mean? So, but just to already have that outlet there. And when we set an appointment, if it's for like 5 weeks, he's like, let me know if something comes up, you know, before then. And so that door is already open for, you know, if something happens and I feel like I'm about to like lose my one good marble that troll has left. So it's just really nice to have that. And so I do encourage you. I don't know how this turned into a therapy talk. That was the either medium light 2 or light medium 2. This is Bronze Divinity. So you do have options. There are services available on a sliding scale. There's telehealth, where you can just do your phone, not your phone, but well, yeah, you can do your therapy over the phone, or you can do your therapy over like Zoom or whatever other method that they use. And so it doesn't have to be where you have to go in and like physically sit in someone's office. And there's some free services, some are on a sliding scale. And I'm just saying all this to say, like, if you are at a place where you really believe you can benefit from therapy, which I think everyone can, there are ways to receive it, even if you think, oh my gosh, they're going to charge me like $200 an hour. And some of us, like for me, when someone comes to me for therapy, even though I'm retired, my prices are high and I don't take insurance. But they're still lower than other people, and it's because I'm retired. So I'm like, okay, I am up to date on some things, but other things I'm not, because like I'm retired, so I'm not reading research anymore. You know, I'm not doing, you know, going to conferences and all of that. But if it's just something general and basic, or especially along the lines of what I did when I was working, you know, that I'm still comfortable doing. And if I feel like it's something, or if I believe it's something that's outside of my wheelhouse, I will refer them to, you know, someone else. But anyway, it's important to know what your strengths are in whatever your career field is, and not to pretend that, you know, you can do everything, because you can't. And that's why there's different therapists and different specialties and different specialists, and every therapist is not the best fit for you, which is why there's so many. You know, pick a different one. Now we're going to take bronze, I'm sorry, it's not Desert Glow, as we've been doing. You know what, I'm glad I had something to babble about, because I haven't done all of this in a video in a while. So it was like, I'm going to edit out, do eyeliner, do the bronzers, powder down. And so I am liking this. That's all we're going to do with that. We're going to take Bronze Venus again. I am liking Bronze Venus now that I learned how to apply it without over applying it. I'm going to take this Japanese brush that I don't like, but I like it for the Pat blush, because her blushes are dense. Excuse me for smacking. The only thing is, there's that gnat. Hey, Henry. Because of the imprint in here, the embossment in here, it's hard to get it even on the brush. And so I do have to go back and forth. So I don't do too much, because I don't want to apply too much. And just putting it here. When I use the Fenty brush, it's like pow, and it's like, okay, how can I tone you down? So this brush is a little more challenging. I'm glad I found a use for it that I like, because it's so flimsy. Like for other blushes, I don't like it. And even the House Labs blushes, I'm just like, give me the Fenty brush. But I have learned I like it for this one, because these are super intense. And even though the House Labs blushes are intense too, they just blend out in a way where it still doesn't look harsh. Where for me, sometimes, this in particular, Paradise Venus, it would still look a little harsh. And so this brush, and I do have two of them, because I tried it again, because I was going to toss it. I was going to throw it away. But I'm glad I tried it again, because I really do like it for that. And this brush I find that I like for using the Skin Show shades as highlighter versus the Fenty highlighter brush. So this is Skin Show Divine Glow from Bronze Seduction. I'm not going to tap off. We're just going to tap this on. You see that? I just tapped just a little bit, because we're going to put some back here. And then we're going to just sweep. I like the Skin Show shadows as highlighter, because they're not chunky. They're not chunky, so I don't feel the need to go over with the blush brush and pat it in so that there's not particles on my face. I just tapped in 4 times. I don't know if that's a dual chrome. I don't think so. I don't think that's a dual chrome. That's this shade, so it just looks regular. But it's smooth, and it just lays. Just tap it on. So I'm going to tap in again. Where are you? I can't even see you. Can you see me? My thumb is in the way. So just 1, 2. And we're going to put this back here. And because it's smooth, like there's not particles going anywhere, there's not any fallout. I love this. I love this as a highlighter. And I'm gonna tell you the truth here. Like I usually Well, I do. That's what I do here. I'm liking the Skin Show Glows shadows, the Skin Show shadows so much that I'm liking this one less. And it's because this is powdery and glittery. It is really pretty though. And I am going to keep it. I am going to keep it. But just like how smooth this is, and it's no, you know, glitter bukkake, and I'm loving that. We're going to wipe off some chapstick. We only have our lip to do. We're down to 3 more glosses to try over the black. And I realize I'm not liking using the eyeliner as a lip liner because it is emollient, but it feels dry on my lips. But once I put the gloss on it, the gloss just really emulsifies the liner, and it just makes it super creamy, and then the gloss ends up like bleeding, and because of how my lips are shaped and all of that, it'll, you know, smear on my teeth and everything, and I'm just like, I ain't here for it. But it looks nice in the beginning, but after maybe like 30 minutes, I'm like taking it off because of the formula and how the gloss mixes with the formula. So I do think it's just really strange though how it goes on really creamy, excuse me for smacking, but once I get it on and once I fill in my lips feel dry. And so that's surprising to me because this is creamy. I almost forgot we had mascara to do. Are we gonna do mascara or skip mascara? I'm going to edit this out because it's hard to talk and do the lips. But we're going to edit the rest of this out unless I can get it done super quick. I don't know. So let me know what you think. Well, no, I was going to ask you about therapy, but that's personal, so I don't want you to leave comments below if you've had therapy or are in it and it's helpful. Feel free to share. I just don't want to ask specific questions because that is personal. I'm hoping that this encourages you, like if you are struggling, to know that help is available. What makes this bleed on my teeth once I put gloss on it is because my lips are not symmetrical. And so you see how there's a patch down here, which is kind of almost on the inside of my lip. And so when I put gloss there, and it makes, this is feeling so dry. It's like the liner is pulling, like tugging on my lips. But once I put the gloss on it, it makes everything super emollient. And when I go, that's when it smears all over my teeth. And I noticed in one of my previous videos, near the end of the video, when I was talking, I did have it smeared on my teeth. And I'm just like, that ain't cute. But it's because of how my lips are shaped. And because the gloss is a gloss, I could just not line my entire lip. Like where you still see this gap. This is at the top. It's like right here. So like this peak right here. Once I put liner here and gloss here, that's one of the places where it'll smear on my teeth. So it's just my lip shape. And I'm thinking right now, I don't even need to do all of that because once I put the gloss on, it's going to blend in everywhere anyway. So we have these 3. The eye look, you know what? This eye look to me looks like something done with Midnight Sun, because that Platinum Dusk and this Blood Moon 005 is reminiscent of that reddish shade in Midnight Sun, or how Midnight Sun, okay Henry, damn that, is reminiscent of that green and the red when I put them side by side. So that's why this is making me think of a Midnight Sun look. So yes, we did mix warm and cool tones, and it's different, and I'm here for it because I like different. So these are the 3 glosses that we have. We're going to use this one because I'm thinking it'll play off of the, I don't know, the inner corner, that gold that we put there. This is Earth Angel. And so after this, how come when I put them on, they all look purple over this eyeliner? That is so freaking weird to me. Like when I look back, this? I do think I want to go ahead and do swatches of just the gloss, and then the gloss over a black lipstick and maybe a brown, because I do have a brown liquid lipstick, just to see the difference. But why do they all look purple? When I first apply it, like that, it looks purple. But then like this, it's pretty, but they all seem to be looking the same. I'm not even gonna do mascara. We're just gonna call it for this video. This is the finished look. Let me know what you think. And let me know what you think about all the stuff that I was saying. And I know I said a lot. So if you've watched all of it, thank you. Comments always lead into a hiccup. You let me know what your thoughts are on anything that I've said. And I know I've said a lot about a whole lot of things. And I just really enjoy chatting with you, and I enjoy the interaction down in the comments. There's a lot of information below. There's a link to click to see what the perks are if you join the official CTN fam. If you don't want to do that, there's also Super Thanks, which is just a one-time thing per video, or when I do a live. The membership is monthly. You can unsubscribe at any time, which is fine. So it's not like you make that choice and you're locked in for life. But when you click on it, it'll show you what the perks are. And then if you want to join, then you have to actually click to actually join. So the link isn't to join, it's to see the perks. And then you make a decision from there. For right now, my perks have been, I have posted by now, by this video, at least 3 early access videos. And so those will be videos that don't fit into the series, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit in at that time. And so it's videos that I do that the members get to see, and then when it makes sense to fit into my current lineup of videos, it'll be switched over to public, and then all of you will see. So that perk is just really if you just want to see it early before, you know, a week or so before everyone else. Another perk is you get a badge by your name. That's automatic. It's not something I control. And I can do custom badges, but I need to figure out how to do that, because I want to put a troll badge. But then you can always comment a troll, but to see a troll next to your name, it's like, yeah, you definitely like for real in-house troll. And the other perks are, once we grow, we will do member-only live chats. There will be some members-only videos aside from early access. And also you get to do a request. If there's something specific you want me to see, or to do, I should say. If there's something specific you want me to do, makeup or skincare related. Like, I'm not going to be out in the community, like, doing cartwheels and stuff like that. It's just flying around. Or if there's a trend or just something you want to see, a certain color combination, you want me to pull out, you know, a certain palette again to do looks with, or, you know, pick colors from a certain palette for me to do, that will be your video. Whatever you request or ask for, you know, I will shout you out unless you don't want me to. And shout out comes with, you know, so-and-so requested this video, I tag them below, they can find your channel that way. And so it'll also help you as far as people knowing who you are. And if you don't want the shout outs, just let me know that too. Because I know some people are just here because you just want to be here. And I don't think for any of you, it's about wanting to be noticed. It's just, you love the channel, and I appreciate that. And so it's a good thing, because sometimes people do just do things because they want to be seen, or, you know, they want to get their name out there, and that's okay too if that's you. But I do really appreciate that those of you who are here, you're here because you want to be here, and I appreciate that. And I'm trying to think of what the other perks are. Oh, priority response to comments, and I do reply back to everybody. But if I see you, and I'll know it's you because there's a badge next to your name, and I will reply to you first, and so you will get priority in comment replies. And so there's a few things that, if it's important to you, you know, those are the perks. Or if you just want to support the channel, because that money does, I think like 70% comes to me from the fee, which is good. So anyway, and that goes into makeup, of course. Of course. So that's going to be it for this video. Yeah, So just let me know what you think of any of that. If you're still here and you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that button. If you're still here and you haven't clicked the like button, go ahead and do that. You made it this far for a reason. So go ahead and click that thumbs up button, which does help my channel as well as far as the algorithm. And that'll be it for this video. Thank you for being here. And I appreciate you as always. Self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. You will see me in the next video. Let me check my teeth. Nope, nothing on my teeth yet. You'll see me soon.